The first time in 40 years, the Dollmonts of St. John's are together again. The 10 brothers and sisters were separated after their parents died. The children were all placed in orphanages and foster homes. Over the years, they lost touch. But this week, on Bell Island, for the first time since they were children, they were reunited. NTV's Darren Rogers met with the family and explains their incredible story.
At first glance, there doesn't seem to be anything different or unusual about the Dollmont family. But they can tell 1,000 stories from this past week alone. Before any of them reached the age of 10, their parents had died, and the 10 brothers and sisters were divided up. 6 girls went to the care of the Mercy sisters at Belvedere Home, 2 boys were sent to Mount Cashel Orphanage, and 2 others were put in foster homes. That was over 40 years ago. After that, they lost touch with each other, with seldom contact. As a matter of fact, their brother Ken was lost from contact completely. But when the family decided to put an ad in the Down Homer magazine, the missing member was found. Ken called about the ad from his Toronto home.
It was actually a kind of a fluke. It was a friend of mine that spotted it and called my wife and said to Marie, do Kenny have a brother named Michael? And she said, I don't really know. I'm not really sure. Kenny never talked about his family that much over, through the years. And he said, well, I mean, his name is Sonny. She said, well, yes, I mean, that's got to be him because I heard him talk about that, his mom called him Sonny when he was born. So anyway, to make a long story short, that night my friend came home with the paper, and I had it for 3 days before I called my brother. It took that long to get the nerve up to call him, because I always felt that I was the black sheep of the family.
At that point, most everyone in the family knew how to contact each other, even though they were spread out to the south as far away as Florida and to the west as far away as Alberta. But that led the family's oldest, Kay, of Bell Island, and the family's youngest, Marge, of Florida, to organize a reunion. And yesterday, for the first time in 43 years, the Dollmont children were together again.
But back in the old days in Newfoundland, little communities, when somebody died, they automatically became poor. Poor somebody. So we assumed that poor Marge was our mother. And when we did find out, we just made a joke of it. And for years, we've been calling this kid here Poor Marge. That's her name, Marge. So she had these made for us in Pensacola, Florida. Our mother's up here in the cloud, happy cloud, and we're in the sunbeam, are we girls? Yeah. We're in the sunbeam. Yeah. So we wore these all week, and we wore them last night at the party, and we had one for Tom. That's right. You could say it all. Say it all. What is that? Whatever happened in our lives behind us, we're going on from here. What? Burning. Yeah. Burning. Here y'all. Burning. Y'all got me can't. Here y'all. This is the highlight of our lives. This is our brother Ken. Sorry, baby, you're out of Hollywood. This is our brother Ben, who flew here from Tennessee to say hi, y'all.
Hi, y'all.
Oh, my God.
Amazingly, of the 10 children, there are 3 sets of twins, and the reunion was especially sweet for them.
It's been, like I said, a roller coaster of emotions.
It's like waking up on Christmas morning.
It's better than anything. It's better than any Christmas or anything,
Christmas we never had. We didn't know them. We didn't know their birthdays. There was nothing. And I think it was a missing link.
We were having a hard time trying to figure out who came first,
This is it. We didn't know. We didn't know. So many things that we found out now over the last 8 days. And
I mean, just getting us all together and getting, like I say, getting to know each other was the best part of it all.
Yeah.
Just finding out little bits of stuff like she's like me and he's like me and somebody else. I mean, it was just astronomical. It was just marvelous.
The family says that over the past week that they've been together, there was a lot of healing, learning, reminiscing, and enjoying their time together before they each went their ways again. Mike was the first to depart today, but all vow that goodbyes this time will only be temporary.
Oh, once we went to the airport and said, now, which one is my brother, which one is my sister? Well, after that, it was just so close you couldn't separate us. Because it's been so long since we've been together, Once we met them for the first time there, we just like glue, we bonded together.
I don't think we'll ever be separated again. I think really, you can say now the pennies will start to drop into the banks for next year. I think you'll see the Dollmonts in Tennessee next year. I think this is going to be a round robin for us now. I mean, it's got to be. We don't care.
As they begin to head back to their separate lives, the Dollmonts say the most important thing now is that they know they're only a phone call away from each other. For NTV News, I'm Darren Rogers.